Alright, today I'm going to be showing you how to replace the strut assembly on a 2005 Malibu Maxx, or a regular Malibu as well. Here's the tools you're going to need. You need some vise lock, locking pliers, you need a torque wrench, a breaker bar is helpful, just a length of pipe. You need a couple different sockets, 19mm, 18mm, 13 and 10, as well as a wrench. An impact driver is helpful. You'll need a hammer, and you'll probably need a long screwdriver. Alright, the first thing you want to do is loosen the lug nuts on the car, on the tire. So take that 19mm socket and attach it to the wrench, put the breaker bar on to give yourself a little extra torque, and that helps you loosen them just a little bit. Next thing you want to do is you want to get your car off the ground, position the jack stand where you want it to be, and then let the car down, or let it onto the jack stand. And then we can get the tires off. Finish taking those lug nuts off and remove the tire. There we go. And you can see the strut. And it's attached in a few different places. There are two bolts right there and there. And there's the nuts to take them off. Right there. If you can see it. Man, sorry, the camera works not so great on this. You're going to have to remove the sway bar right there. That's the bolt for that. And then you're also going to have to remove what will loosen that nut right there, which attaches the brake line to there. So, but first what we're going to do is we're going to go up under the hood and we're going to loosen those bolts. Okay, that will take a 13mm socket right there. So what I did is I actually took two of them off, and then I just loosened that last one right there and left it on, because this is the strut assembly tower. Alright, now that we've got those off, we need to remove this piece right here to get the sway bar off. Unfortunately, it's very, very tough to get off, and this piece behind it, I don't know if you can see it very well, but the piece behind it, for mine at least, it turns with it. So it's basically rusted together, and no amount of penetrating oil has been able to loosen it. So what I've had to do is attach a pair of vise locks to it, hold it in place, and then just put some elbow grease in and crank the rest of that, get that bolt off. So see what I've done here, I've attached the vise locks to the back of here, keep it tight, and I'm actually going to use my impact driver on here. It gets really loud, but here we go. And I managed to get it off there, you can see. Now here's something no one told me before I got this thing off. See this sway bar here? So see how it's, let's see, hold on, there we go. See how it's bent at an angle down? There's no way you're getting that out of that hole or getting the new one back in. So what you do before you do any of the other bolts, get your jack stand under there, find the spot right underneath this whole assembly, and jack it up until that piece right there is nice and level, and you can push it out. Okay, see, now I jacked this up just enough so this would come loose. So here we go, just push it out. And there we go. You're gonna have to do that again when you put the new strut assembly on. There we go, that's much better visual. I apologize for the previous early ones. So now for any time that you can use an impact driver, I'd recommend you do, just because it makes it a lot easier on you. So just like this, it's gonna take this a lot easier. Just like that, done. Next thing you're going to want to do is to hammer these guys out. They are so you can see that they've got this. There we go. You can see that they've got kind of that grip there. They're made to fit really, really tight, so you're going to have to use a hammer on these. So get both of those out. One other thing, this piece right here, you can just take that off, move it, get it out of the way, so you can get at the rest of these. Once you have those bolts removed, grab one of those screwdrivers, and then you can kind of wiggle this out a little bit. Wiggle that free. All right, now this piece you're also going to have to loosen up there. That is a 10mm, so just loosen it up, and then this will pull free this way. And then what you're going to do is you're going to pull this piece off of this. Alright, that might not be as easy as you think. It might be rusted harder on than you thought it would, because that's what had happened to me. Let's see. So anyway, so that just fits right in there. Anyhow, then you just pull it free, but it might be pretty tight on. Anyway, once you're there, you got everything loose, then you can go up on top and you can take off that last nut and take the strut off. So I'm gonna need both hands for this. All right, there you can see the old strut and the new one. You're just gonna put it back on the same way you did. Oh, one point of caution. You see that bolt right in the middle? Don't touch it. Don't touch it under any circumstances. In fact, this one has a sticker over the top of it. I'm gonna take the sticker off, but it's just a warning. This thing is under high pressure and it could kill you. If you mess around with that, come apart, hit you, you're dead, no good. Anyway, so now what you're gonna do is you're gonna take this strut assembly and you're gonna put it right back up through those holes again, and then attach it with the bolts, just in the reverse of what we did. Okay, just how I needed 2 hands to get that up, I need 2 hands to get it, or get it off, I need 2 hands to get it up. Anyway, put those bolts on, keep it up there, just move it around until it fits. And what you can actually do, down here, this piece needs to be facing forward. You can actually turn it with 2 hands. You can actually turn it to be where it needs to be. Because this is actually going to turn with the wheel, obviously. So anyway, get it to there, tighten it down on top, and then we will tighten it down really good, and then we will put the rest of it back together. So I'm actually using my impact driver again. You can use just your hands if you need to. There we go, now it's nice and tight. Come back down here, and we work this piece back to where it needs to be. There we are. It's back in there. So what you're going to do now, you're just going to make sure these bolts line up. You're going to get your bolts, or those holes line up. You get your bolts and stick them in, and then you're going to hammer those suckers in like nobody's business. All right. So it actually took me a while of moving the wheels, moving around to get these hammered in. And to be honest, they aren't quite, see, there's still a tiny gap. I still need to hammer a little more. Anyway, this piece right here just slides in to that spot and put the bolt back on. In fact, I'll grab it right here. So I'll put that bolt back on, tighten that up. Remember, that's the 10 millimeter. Finger tight, then obviously torque it down with a wrench. And then after that, we're going to put the bolts back on here. Let's see. Put those back on. And then what you're going to have to do, what I was telling you before, look at this. Here is the sway bar. That's the hole it's supposed to go in. See a problem? So anyway, what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to lift this back up to get that in. I almost forgot, you got to put this piece back here. So anyway, this sway bar is in the way now. Let's move this back. This piece needs to go back over the bolts before you put the nuts on. Put those back on, tighten those up. I'm gonna use my handy dandy impact driver. And torque them down just for good measure. It's supposed to be about 100 foot-pounds. This was what I was telling you about. You need to get this back up to the right height. So crank this sucker up underneath there until it is really close. Just a tiny bit. There we go. And then you do the same thing. You got to put the vice locks on the back and then tighten that screw down, or that bolt down. Then everything is done. Look at, there's the brand new strut assembly. It's all torqued down nice and tight. Sway bar is reattached. Now you just put the tires back on, bolt them in a star pattern, put it down, and then torque them to, I think, 100 foot-pounds. And you're good to go. You have a new struts on your car.